There's a guy who doesn't want me to eat today. That's the guy right there.
I know, David. The crazy part is I proposed the schedule.
You
Um,
what? You were the
I was the
schedule?
one.
Ah,
Yeah, in theory, I mean, I was like, I'm free on these days, and then when Wednesday didn't work, it all kind of fallen on one day. My preference would have been like two on each day, but you know, what can you do?
yeah, we'll get through it. Um, let me let me looks like we got six people in right now. I want to check something. We had a pretty good number for this one, if I remember right.
Okay.
Let's see. I go to um meetings and I look at shoot, what did she show? What did she say? Event. Let's say meetings. We click on this is Alabama, Georgia. We click on that. Oh, here we go. Registration. We have 39 registrants here.
Oh, sweet. This
So,
was, I think how many did I have reset up in this group? Let's see. At least the ones that are already set up, 77 agencies. So that's pretty good turnout.
yeah,
Yeah, it was. I was talking to Agatha yesterday, and I think Florida's going to be multiple webinars just because it's so large.
yeah,
And yeah, that's completely fine.
yeah. Um,
I did, Dave, want to
Post.
ask you a question real quick. So when I was talking to Agatha yesterday, we're doing like a different email that we're sending out to them. Just we put together a more formal one. She had mentioned to throw the IMS logo on there, just to kind of catch their attention, but she wanted us to clear it with you guys. Um, I mean, is just send it to Agatha.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay, cool. Okay, cool.
yep.
Um, yeah, I talked to Christine and she's sending me over your guys' official branded ones and all that. It's just right next to our logo. So I'll send it over
Okay,
to her. I'm sure it's a quick process, but
okay.
it'll probably catch their attention. I got a fair amount of response from Florida that were like, who are you?" I was like,
I'm sure.
"That's
Right.
yeah." I looked back at my rough draft. I mean, that's why we do the first one. That's why they say have most of the agents be on the first one, so you can test it out. But yeah, I looked at it and I was like, this for these people that maybe didn't even see the emails about the webinar, they're probably like, this guy's trying to sell me something.
Right. Right. Um, make host. Do you want to change the host to Jack? Yes. Okay, okay. And we got 11:56. We got a few more minutes. Yeah, I looked at the registrants yesterday for all of these meetings today, and um I think the lightest one was 12. I also
Okay.
saw something that Louisiana put out, which was really good. So I'll be curious to see what kind of participation rate they have as well. Um, but they put out a nice piece, and Agatha was like, "Hey, I just didn't have time. I mean, we kind of rushed through this thing, and she goes, we'll we'll get it taken care of." And I trust her because
Oh yeah.
we do this. This one was a little disjointed. We just didn't have the time that we really wanted. But when we put it out there, it's good. So we'll get to these Florida agents. I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not either. I had a conversation with Agatha about it, and
Yeah,
I think I came off like, I understand there's a lot of circumstances. I had a lot of pressure from up top, being like, let's launch these. So I was just like, let's get them going. We'll pick up after that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I knew from the beginning with Florida with 400 agents that was going to be multiple webinars anyway. It's
yeah.
impossible. You can't get. You'd be lucky to
Right.
get a quarter of those people on
You're right.
anything with a month.
100%. Yeah, 100% right.
I could give out
Um,
free cars in an email link, and I wouldn't get 400 people to sign
you're
to
right.
click on it.
You're right. No, we're gonna get some more, obviously some more information out. Co-branded stuff is great. So she's got a game plan. We just got word this morning that a young lady that we interviewed, we had a couple interviews earlier this week, and the young lady who we really landed on accepted the position. So, and she's got some background, which will help us get her up and running quickly. She will be our IMS person.
Okay.
We had an IMS person that was good, and she left us unexpectedly, just completely blew our minds because we don't have much turnover here. We very rarely turn over people. And
Mhm.
so this one came out of the blue, and it was just, I guess, an opportunity. It's with another association, nowhere near our size. I think it was more, I think she felt like she was going to be bumping her head against the top because Agatha's young, not going anywhere. There really wasn't any opportunity for her to advance into that position anytime in the near future, for sure.
Mhm.
So we'll get this other person up and running. We'll be rocking and rolling. But
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Now I'm not worried about it. I think I mean, my preference from the beginning would have been, you know, go state by state, reach out and say, hey, here's what Semsee does. Who has a need for it? Add those people in, and then kind of go back. So it's essentially what we're doing anyway. Just a
Yeah.
little bit longer runway. So yeah, I've got no qualms with the way we're doing it so far. Today's going to be rough, but we'll power through.
Yeah, my friend down there at the bottom of the screen gets an opportunity to eat lunch because he's right there at home. So that's the
Yeah,
advantage
this
to
is the
him.
restaurant. This is the new restaurant that I've found here recently.
Right there in
Yeah,
your neighborhood.
yeah, right here.
Oh, great. Oh, must be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
What do we have, Jack? I can't see our number
I've
of
got
folks.
12.
12 in the waiting room. Jeff, I think I was telling Jack, we had like 39 folks register for this
Okay.
particular one, but we're at
Well,
12, he says. So
yeah,
hopefully some more will jump on. But I want to stay as close as we can to schedule here. So I'm probably just going to flip it over there and go,
yeah, we got
let's
to.
rock on. Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Want me to throw them in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. There we go.
We'll let everybody we'll make sure everybody's connected and working right here, and we'll get it going. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Burt, and I'm the president of Independent Market Solutions and the managing director of the for-profit side at FAI, also known as FAI Member Services. We are excited to begin 2025 by announcing a new partnership with Semsee that's going to provide IMS agents like yourselves with many new commercial markets and cutting-edge rate quote binding technology. During the past few years, I and my team have pursued a goal to expand the market access for member agents while also improving the technology behind the program. And we have continued to add new markets. Most have been on the personal or specialty line side. Our new partnership with Semsee significantly improves our menu of commercial lines markets and affords IMS agents with new quoting opportunities on a commercial rating platform that we believe is second to none. So if you're already an IMS appointed agent, you'll simply have to reach out to our marketing manager, Gene Blazinski, who you all have had to work with in the past to get set up as an IMS agent. And we will just add the Semsee offering to your existing application. If you are a new IMS agent, you'll have to complete our universal application and include Semsee in your request for an appointment. If you don't have Jean's contact information, her email address is imsmarketing@imsaccess.com. Again, it's imsmarketing@imsaccess.com. And her name again is Jean, Jean Blazinski, Bloszinsky. Also, the IMS website, just in case you need it, is www.imsaccess.com. So one last thing I'll say before I turn the program over to Jack. This Semsee partnership is offered to our IMS appointed agents free of charge. So you will not pay anything to be able to access this portal. So I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more of that later, but just wanted that question to be answered quickly because it's come up in the last 2 webinars we've done. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jack, who is the National Accounts Manager with Semsee, to guide you through the portal process. Jack?
Awesome. Thank you. All right, I'll get my screen shared here and everyone give a thumbs up. Everything looks good. You guys can see it. Great. Well, yeah, appreciate you all taking the time to hop on with us. We're really excited about this partnership. Thanks for introducing me. So my name's Jack Ferber. I'm a National Accounts Manager here at Semsee. So I work with our individual agents who are part of a group such as IMS, just kind of navigating them through day-to-day of working with Semsee. So I'll be connecting with each of you closely, working with you on a day-to-day basis. But I'll just take us through a few things here. Take you through kind of a quick introduction about what we do here at Semsee, kind of the benefits of quoting with us. I'll go through some of our carriers, and I'll send in mostly just going to send in a document that you guys can view that'll show you who we have access to both add your direct markets in, as well as quote through our market access platform. I am going to spend most of the time just going through a quoting demo, kind of going through our portal, showing you guys a few tips and tricks and what it looks like to actually go through a quote with Semsee. And then I'll definitely time at the end for questions. Typically, I have another person on here with me who's monitoring the chat, but do definitely feel free to type any questions you have into the chat. Like I said, we'll have some time at the end to kind of go over those. And then, so quick overview of Semsee, kind of why you should be quoting with us. So really we're a twofold comparative rater and market access platform, MGA. So what we do is we give you the ability to add direct markets that you have that we have a partnership with, as well as our full suite of market access carriers. We compile the questions from all those applications into one single quick quote flow, eliminate any duplicates, same as a standard comparative rater. But you have the ability to quote your direct markets as well as our market access. So last time I checked, and we're adding carriers by the day, we're at about 60 total markets between direct and market access, pretty much covering all lines of commercial insurance. Extremely friendly and user-centered interface. I'll be able to go a little bit deeper into that when we actually get into the portal and start quoting. But really, I think it's top of the market in terms of ease of use and saving you guys time when you're quoting commercial. As I mentioned, access to appointed carriers as well as additional markets, all in the same quote flow. It's pretty unique to our comparative rater that you can access us as a broker, as well as quote your direct markets all in one quote flow. And then carrier options. And then, so for us here at Semsee, our sweet spot's really going to be commercial clients with premiums under 20K. It's not to say we don't take higher than that or lower than that. It's just an average. But in terms of lines you can quote, I just listed a few here. You got BOP, general liability, workers' comp, some of those more common ones, as well as auto. Get a little bit more into the cyberspace. So we do have a large host of cyber markets, MPL, as well as a host of admitted and non-admitted carriers. And we do have a full suite of E&S options as well. So if you go through the full quote flow, can't find a home for something either through market access or through your direct markets, we do have like I said, a full host of E&S markets that we can take a look at. So in terms of carriers and coverages we have, again, I typically have someone that can send this in for me, so bear with me for 1 second. But what I'm going to do is send you in our carrier grid, which is it's going to look like this. It's about 5 pages. It's going to show you all the markets that we have access to for you to add your direct markets in. And I'll send this in here shortly. There we go. So I'm sending this in now. So this is going to show you all the markets we have access to, what lines they write, and then whether they're available to be added in via if you have a direct appointment or through our market access platform. So as an IMS agent, you guys all have market access capability. So all of these market access carriers will be preloaded into the portal when you log in. And I'll show you when we actually get into the portal how to add in your direct markets. Really quick, simple process. But this one I sent in, there are a few carriers that we have added in the meantime that are not listed on there. They're actually, I'm having our marketing team put together a more updated one as we speak, which I'll follow up with you guys on, but we have added Obi and Steadily for dwelling fire risk. I know we got some Louisiana people in here. They do the X-wind coverage on coastal properties. So definitely something that might be of interest to you guys that is not listed on there. And by the end of the day today, I should have that updated copy from our marketing team that'll have everything on there. But that just gives you an idea of some of the markets that we have access to. And then, like I said, want to spend most of my time here actually going through a quoting demo. So I'll take you through kind of what it looks like to quote here in Semsee. So this is our dashboard when you log in. Yours will be IMS branded, so it'll look a little bit different than this. We'll just have the IMS colors and letterhead. But a couple things you can do within here. You can see all of your submissions in here. Really nice thing about Semsee, if you start an application, even if you only type one word into it, it'll actually save your application for you. And you can go continue here. So, you know, if you go through, start an application, exit out, or get sidetracked, don't have to worry about losing your progress. But you can see the client, when it was created, what lines you're quoting, kind of that status. You'll see when you start getting responses, you can see how many responses you've received. Again, what lines, if you're quoting multiple lines in one application, I'll let you know that. So this is kind of where all your submissions will live after you actually get in there and start quoting with Semsee. We also do have a resource center here. So this is, for example, if you have questions about like quoting commercial auto, you can see, you know, just a quick little web page here telling you about commercial auto symbols. So this one on my end is not fully updated just because this is our demo portal. And we've definitely published articles within the last year. But there's a good amount of information on there if you know, something catches your eye for something you might look to quote. If you just click on that, there's a lot of good resources in there. Down here in this bottom right corner as well, you can also see which markets you have access to. So anything that says via Semsee market access just means that you're accessing through us, through Semsee. And then if you scroll a little bit further, you'll see some of your direct markets here. So this little pop-up here means that they're fully integrated. If you get this little yellow pop-up, 99% of the time, it's just going to be, you got to add your password. So this will just let you know who you have access to through us and make sure that all of your direct markets are set up here as well. On that note, first thing you do when you get into the Semsee portal, you're going to want to go up here to account/settings, go to my agency's carriers, and then just add in your direct markets. So it's as simple as clicking add a carrier, selecting from this drop down. So anything on here is going to be eligible for you to add in a direct appointment if you have one, and it's as simple as just adding in that primary agency code. You can nickname it if you'd like, and it's typically pretty quick. You know, some of our carriers, it's almost instantaneous. It'll actually bridge through and allow you to start quoting directly. Some of them, I'll be honest with you, do lag a little bit behind. As soon as we get it added in, we just shoot it off to the carrier and they just have to finalize everything on their end. So if it is lagging behind a little bit, typically the longest I've seen it take is 24 hours. So that's how you would do that. And then another important thing to do when you get in, anyone that has already set up with us, you will only have your agency admin set up. So in most cases, it'll be your commercial lines manager or agency principal. So what you're going to want to do is go to agency users and just add in any additional agents you have. And again, that's as simple as just clicking add another user, first name, last name, email address, selecting a role for them. The only difference between a user and an admin is the admin has the ability to add additional users and add markets. And then save and close, they'll get a welcome email and they can go ahead and log in. So if you do have multiple agents at your specific agency, they're going to be quoting with Semsee who would like their own logins. You can do all of that here within the portal. I want to show you guys what actually getting a quote looks like. So we're going to go up here and we're going to click start. I'll go through, I'll walk through a couple tips as I'm doing it. So first page is just going to be entering in the insured's name and email address. So I'll go ahead and type one in, a restaurant near me. So if you see here that it says existing, that just means someone has quoted it through Semsee, through the Semsee portal before. So what it'll do is autofill a lot of the information, such as mailing address, primary contacts, that sort of information. If you don't see anything there, it'll also then, as a second option, go scrape through some of our carriers to see if anyone else has quoted that with any of our markets. We'll fill there. It also pulls from Google. It just uses a host of different places to try and essentially use AI to figure out what you're trying to quote. But if you're quoting something that doesn't pop up in here at all and you see no results, you can just click enter and go ahead and just enter everything in manually. So if you don't see anything on this pop down that matches what you're looking to quote, no worries at all. So I'm gonna click this one. So as you can see, since this has already been quoted, it's gonna autofill all this information for me. And you'll see it'll autofill some more information on some of these other pages as well. You also have the option to start an application via a Accord upload. I know a lot of people hear Accord and they're not interested in that. It's not required. We don't require any Accord forms. But if you do have an Accord form, you can also upload that there and it'll scrape it for any basic information to fill in a lot of these answers for you. If everything looks good here, we can move on to the business code. So this is going to pull directly from NAICS. So this one's a restaurant. So you'll see if I go type in restaurants, it's going to pull anything within any NAICS code that has a keyword of restaurant. So the one on the top of the page is not necessarily going to be the best match. It's worth noting. So I just put in restaurants, but you'll see what I'm actually looking for. Restaurant carryout is going to be a little bit further down. So keep that in mind. Top one's not always going to be necessarily the best fit. It's just pulling off those keywords that you've put in. And then moving on to the next page, locations. Again, that was auto-filled in for me. But you can enter in the mailing address as well as the physical location. You can add in multiple locations here if I'd like to do that. Don't want to do that in this case, but you can add in multiple physical locations all within the same quote. And then finally, contact. Again, this is one I've quoted that's been quoted before, auto-filled. So you can see just that first thing at the beginning where I selected an existing one that's already been quoted, essentially saved me from having to fill out 3 of these already. Moving forward to line selection. This is where you're going to select what lines you want to quote with us. So you can see we, again, can pretty much cover just about anything in terms of the commercial space that you're looking to quote. On top of this doesn't even include our E&S options for the most part. So I'll go ahead and quote a BOP and workers' comp here. This is going to ask you to choose Accord forms. Again, these are not Accord forms that you're going to upload. Our system will actually generate these Accord forms for you at the end of the quote process. So if you want an Accord form at the end, just select that. And any questions that the application needs specific to generate that Accord form, it'll just throw in the regular in your regular application. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. Everything looks good here. We're going to move forward. Again, it's going to skip this one for you if you only have one location. If you have multiple locations or different locations for different lines, then you'll have to fill this one out. But just because I have the one location, same mailing address, and same primary, it's just going to skip that for me. And here is where the system is going to allow you to go in and select your markets. So our system does a really good job of scraping the markets that we have available to us, taking that information that you've given us already. So what state are you quoting in? what lines are you looking to quote in, and what class of business are you looking to quote. So it'll scrape through that and eliminate any carriers we have that are not a fit for any of those 3 reasons. So you can see these are all ones that right in that state, the state of Colorado in this case. They write the line of business they're looking to quote, workers' comp and BOP, and they write that restaurant class code. So it's going to filter out all of these markets that are not a fit for that. So, and this is, and you can see this is specifically for BOP. So here I'm selecting my carriers for BOP, and here I'm selecting for workers' comp. So I'll go ahead, I'll select a few here. You'll see a few of them, like Viberg, for example, might ask you to clarify a little bit. So just because this is all through API connection with the carriers, they might have 2 that are extremely similar. Like in this case, carry out and dine in. Just select the one that fits the best, and then someone will ask for something like the industry as well. I'll go ahead and I'll quote Chubb as well. Everything looks good here. Just make sure all these boxes are filled in. A lot of them will autofill it for you, but in the example, like with Viberg, we just want to make sure that there's something in each of those boxes, or else it's just going to pull me back to this page. So you could go through, you could quote all of these if you'd like. My advice typically is to quote between 3 to 7, just because the nature of pulling 15 applications into one, each carrier is going to have carrier-specific questions. We're not able to filter out any super carrier-specific questions that are only being asked by that carrier. The ones we will remove will be those duplicate questions. So it's just gonna take a lot longer to be honest with you. So you can absolutely, if you'd like, go through and quote 15 for each line. But typically the more efficient way is going to be quote between 3 to 7. And I'll show you after you submit the quote, there's actually an option to duplicate in there. So you can just duplicate the application, take all your answers and paste them into a new application, and just select different carriers. And that's really only, for the most part, going to be an issue on, I'm quoting a restaurant for workers' comp. We're going to have a lot of markets for that. If you're quoting something like commercial auto or property lines, for the most part, you're going to have between 5 to 7 options. So that doesn't really come up in those scenarios. So, but if you're quoting more of a vanilla class of business, you're going to have a host of options. So I would recommend, quoting probably half of them and then coming back and quoting the rest. If everything looks good here, we can click next and select same thing for workers' comp. So I'll go click there. We'll do Viberg again. Make sure everything looks good here, and then we'll quote employers. Great. And now we can go and it'll actually generate this application for us. So I'm not going to go through and answer all these questions and have you guys sit here while I fill out an application for a business that I'm not looking to find coverage for. But I will take you through kind of a few things that'll be relevant to you guys when you get in there and actually start quoting. The first is going to be on this bottom left corner here. If you click that and go to required, that's going to filter out any optional questions that are on this application. So you can see some of these, like this one, for example, is going to be an optional question. I can just click here, filter that down, and it'll take it out of the application. So cuts down those questions. That makes it so you don't have to look and see if you truly do have to answer that question. And our system is smart enough where if there's a question, if there's one question and then optional questions off of that question, so depending on your answer to the first question, you may or may not have to answer those additional questions. If your answer to the first question makes those not optional, it'll throw them right back in the application. So once you click this, you don't have to worry that you're missing out on anything. This is going to be all the questions that you need. Another great thing in this box is actually going to be our flag functionality. So what you can do as you're going through the quote process is actually flag any questions. So if you're going through and you don't know all the answers off the top of your head, you can actually flag them, and then I can go filter down to only those flagged questions, pull them all onto one page. I can actually copy these questions, email them off to the insured, or I can just hop on the phone with them and have them all on one page. So really, really great tool. I definitely recommend using that. So you don't have to scroll back through the application to try and figure out which ones you haven't answered. If you need to skip one, just flag it and come back later. And then another thing worth noting is going to be this little question mark here. So what this is going to do is going to give you who's asking that question. And then the carriers, for the most part, will put in any insight about that question that you might need to know. Again, this is provided by the carriers. To be honest with you, some of them are much better about filling this section out than others. But for really kind of unique questions, like this is a great example for equipment breakdown coverage. If you have no idea what that is, there's going to be a full breakdown here of what is this coverage, why would I need it, kind of explaining to you what it is. And it will also tell you who asked that question and for what application. So this one is for our BOP application, specifically with Acuity. So it'll give you a good sense of who's asking what questions. So as you quote more with Semsee and become more familiar with these markets, you'll know kind of what information you need to go through and actually quote with some of these carriers. On the flip side, it'll also tell you sometimes maybe for the type of business that you're doing, a certain carrier is asking a lot of carrier specific questions and they don't really line up with the type of business that you guys are quoting. Maybe just make mental note of that and say, they're really not a great fit for me. I don't feel like answering all these additional questions. So you can see who's asking what and kind of make mental notes of, again, what you might need in the future and who's asking maybe too many questions when they're not really a fit for the type of business you're quoting. So just let you know who's asking what. Last thing I want to touch on in here is actually going to be this chat functionality down here. Again, this is our demo site, so this is disabled. Otherwise, I would show you what it looks like. But if you click this, it's not an automated response type thing. We actually have a team of agents that are on there working with agents who are currently on the portal quoting. So they can see your screen. They can see where you're stuck. If you're having any technical issues or have any questions at all, you can actually get on with a live person. You can hop on a phone call with them, a video call. You can chat with them in the box. And if you'd like, you can even give them the ability to actually move your mouse for you and kind of point you in the right direction. So I definitely recommend using this. You can also reach out to me with any questions as you guys are going through. First couple quotes, I anticipate hearing from a good amount of you, using any platform for the first time. You kind of got to work out the kinks. But this chat functionality is a really great tool to get in touch with our customer service team and actually work with them in live time to finish up a quote. As I mentioned, not going to go through and answer all these, but I will show you what it looks like at the end. So after you go through and submit, here's a good one. It's going to look similar to this. So a couple options here. You can go back and view your application answers. Here's that duplicate application functionality that I had mentioned. If I click this, it'll just create a brand new submission, paste all my answers, and I can go, make any changes, add any carriers in that I'd like. If you make a mistake and realize it later, typically the best way is to go to kind of resubmit it to us. It's just going to be duplicate, to make the change and resubmit. That's going to be quicker than reaching out to an underwriter and having them do it manually on the back end. You can download those Accord forms here. So they're all going to live right here. And then here's your actual quote results. So this one looks like was a BOP, workers' comp, and cyber with 10 different carriers. And you'll notice some of them you'll see kind of different prompt response based on whether you're quoting with Semsee or with one of your direct markets. So again, if it says via Semsee down here, it just means you're using market access to get that quote. If you see go to quote or finish with carrier, it's one of your direct markets. So I don't have a nationwide login, so it's gonna take me here. But essentially what this will do is take you straight to that to the nationwide portal, bridge it over, and you can finish the quote, bind, make any changes in the nationwide portal. And it'll be as if you quoted it within there. So it's really pretty slick how well it works. So, and then if you get a declination, this is a good example. You'll get this little chat bubble looking thing here. If you click that, it'll actually give you the declination reason. So for travelers, decline due to the percentage of work subcontracted. And then for these market access ones, kind of different options for what you might see. You'll see either one that looks like this or one that looks like this. So if you see a request bind option, that means it's an instant quote. You're good to go. You can bind it and be done with it today. So I can download those docs here. But if I click request bind, show you how easy it is. Just confirm that effective date. Make sure that the application answers look correct. So it's going to pull all the answers that you put in for that specific carrier. Make sure all that looks good. Type your name and click request bind. I had another IMS agent in another state today request a bind today. And she was sending me an email saying, just want to make sure we're going to get this by the end of the day. Before she had even sent the email to me, she got the bind confirmation saying, this is bound, here are your documents. So it's really very quick. It is, again, though, based on the carrier. Some of them aren't going to be quite that fast, but it is a quick process. Same note here. If you see request review, so even if it's bindable, you can still see this. You still have the option to request review. It's just really important to note that if you don't click request review, it's not going to get into the hands of one of our underwriters. We do that just so our underwriters have more time to get back to the ones that need to be reviewed. We want to make sure that the premium looks good, lines up, and decent chance that this one's going to be a fit, and then we'll review it. But if you click this request review, you'll have the option to include any notes. You can put in a need by date and then a couple optional sections for current carrier, expiring premium, target premium, and the ability to upload documents. You can add in loss runs, supplemental apps, anything that you might want to add in there. As soon as you send that off, our underwriters are pretty quick. Their turnaround time that we say is 24 hours. It's typically much faster than that. We give the 24-hour time frame, because say it's 1/1, traffic's going to be much higher, and our underwriters are going to be getting a lot more submissions than they would on a normal day. So it's going to be a little bit slower on certain days just based on volume. But for the most part, I've seen turnaround times. Typically, they're going to be in the 2 to 3 hour range. So they're pretty quick. It's just if it's lagging behind, most of the time it's just sorting some things out with the carrier and getting all the necessary information. So it also is worth noting, once you click this request review, you will receive communication via email. So as soon as you click that request review, you're going to get an email that says confirmation of your request to review this one. Here's the information you entered in. Here's your underwriter that's going to be looking at this one. And then from there, as any updates come in, so say the carrier has additional questions, or we get you a bindable quote there, that'll come via email. So definitely worth noting that. It's not going to show up here in the portal if it does go to an underwriter. It's just going to be a communication through email. And then last thing to note is this one on if you don't see this request bind, this just means it needs to be reviewed. So the carrier, for whatever reason, some answer in there just wants to take a closer look at it. So same thing as before. We want to make sure we're clicking this request review button just to make sure it gets in the hands of an underwriter if the preliminary pricing looks good. You can see as well here, one looks like CNA actually blocked this one. So if it is blocked, you'll see that. So it is, some of our carriers will block markets, others won't. It really depends on the carrier. So if that pops up, that's what that would look like. It's about all I wanted to show you guys here in the portal. I just have pretty much one more slide, and then I want to take the opportunity to turn it back to you guys for any questions that you might have. So in terms of how to get started, there's a fair amount of you that were pre-registered you're just already in our system from when we first contracted with IMS. So for those, it's as simple as going to ims.semsee.com, clicking forgot password, enter your email address, and you'll just receive a password reset link. You can then log in, add your users, add your carriers. And I'll be sending all of this in an email to you guys after this with what this full process of how to get logged in, my contact information, all that stuff. But if you're already set up with us, then that's the process. If you're not set up with us, probably because you're, that's more on what David discussed at the beginning of going through Gene. And if there's questions about that, we can clarify a little bit further.
Yeah, I think Jack. Hi everyone. My name is Jeff Grady. I work on behalf of IMS to attract and develop new markets. I think the ones that would most likely be in Semsee already is if you were a coterie producing agent, not if you had signed up for coterie but not produced a policy, but actually produced a policy. We loaded those in first. And so I think, Jack, that would be the scenario where we might have those people already in the system. If not, as Dave was saying early on, contact Jean Blazinski with that contact information provided, and she can get you hooked up. One detail I wanted to follow up on from what Dave and Jack said. So we really tried to accomplish two things here. One, provide a lot more small commercial market access, all in one fell swoop, which is what we think we did. As Jack explained, Semsee is more or less like a broker. I mean, they have lots of markets. We have coterie is one of our markets that we share, and we'll have others on there. It will make no difference to you. What's important for the agent to know here is what Dave said. There's no cost to this. You're not getting a haircut on commission or anything like that. If you had come and found Semsee on your own and found an ability to use those markets, there would be some paid service there. Your commission rates would not be any different, but we've negotiated on behalf of you a great partnership, we think, with Semsee that will allow you to go in there and access markets at competitive commission rates on a rating platform that will be very helpful in the efficiency of showing those to your client. So we're really excited to see how this goes, and we encourage your utilization and your feedback. We want to know that this is what we think it is. But we do think that we've got a good partnership here and are excited for you to use it.
Yeah, well said. Appreciate that, Jeff. I think you phrased it well. Yeah, you guys aren't taking a haircut on commission or anything like that. Semsee is not free to use for people that don't have an arrangement such as this. So I'm obviously a little bit biased, but I think it's a great value that you guys are getting. We're continuing to add more markets. So, I mean, the carrier grid that I sent into you guys that was fresh 2 weeks ago there's more markets already that I can't keep up with it. So, and on that, if there's something that you guys are consistently having trouble placing, we're getting a lot of that feedback from our agents. That those opportunities we'll go look for a market to fill that need. So again, same thing with our portal as well. If there's a feature that people are really wanting, we definitely take that feedback to heart. Currently, we're in the process of implementing a full scope appetite checker across all of our carriers and all of our lines that we write pre-quote. So in that dashboard, you can actually go and check appetite before even starting a quote. So that's something we got feedback from a lot of our agents, and it's going to roll out here soon. So can't express enough. Love feedback. We're a very constantly evolving company, trying to suit the people that we do business with. So,
Jack, do you want to? We'll answer some of these questions on the chat. We are recording this, so we can provide a copy, or the attendee, I think, can go on and request to view the recording. We also, the question, it says Robbie Dave. I'm not sure if that's the right name, but you're a broker in Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina. You're using EasyLink's platform. Also have a contract with some other agency networks. Can I use the platform? Of course you can. We don't. IMS has no restrictions. We're not exclusive. We are. This is a platform that has been created by the independent agents associations. It is meant to perpetuate agents, not consolidate agents. So we don't try to be exclusive. This is, if you're a member of your association and you sign on with IMS, you can use it. The other thing, Dave, can you put in Gene's email there? And oh, you did. And then are we paying any subscription? No, there is no subscription fee for you to use this platform. Those were the only questions I saw.
There's got to be more questions. I know Dave was saying he was going to start calling on people. We didn't get any questions.
Well, if you think of any, Dave, Bert, and me, Jeff Grady, are available at IMS for those, and of course Jack has offered his contact information there on the screen. If you're not signed up, remember, if you are with IMS, or even if you're not, and you want to be quoting on Semsee, you need to let Gene Blazinski know that, and she will get you set up with credentials and the instructions to go over there and get started, and then you'll really get to know Jack.
Yeah, I'll definitely be working close with you guys. And if you guys have questions, I mean, if you're not sure if you're pre-set up, I know that you had mentioned that it's based on prior production with Coterie. That sounds correct to me. I think we discussed that. If you're not sure, here's my email. Shoot me an email. I can go look in our system and see if we have an agency set up for you. So happy to do that. I will say I'll be sending a follow-up email after this with some information. We do have two or three more of these back to back, so it's going to be more at the end of the day today as opposed to right after this. But I will be following up with any further instructions, kind of summing up what we discussed today.
Jack, I have one question. I may not.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't ask a question I don't know the answer to. We on the website imsaccess.com for Louisiana or Florida, we've got a Semsee, page there that presents the markets that are available and how to go about it. And we have a range of commissions because there's dozens of carriers. Where do they actually find the commission rate that is being paid by that carrier when they're, looking at that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I do have that on my end, but I found out speaking with some of your team that the one that I have is not fully up to date. So one of the things I was doing this morning is our marketing team is updating that, putting all the proper information in place that'll tell you very clearly for each line, for each carrier, how much is going to you, the agent. So no splits or anything like any of that. It's just how much, what goes to your pocket. So do you think
that could ever be combined with the hit list? I mean, you guys have a great hit list that shows the carrier, the lines of coverage, the territories. Do you think that might be something that can be combined with that commission schedule?
Yeah, that's my intention. Because that hit list also has what states they quote in. So I would like to add that in there. But I'm also putting together one that's super easily digestible if all you're looking for is commissions. In case you've already bound a policy, you're not sure what the commission is, you just want to look for that specific carrier. So putting that together. But if you do have questions, I was told by marketing we'll have that by the end of the day today, maybe early tomorrow. So I will be sending that out. If any of you bind the policy in the meantime and need to know the commissions, give me a call. I'll also buy you a coffee or something if you bind something in the next 5 hours. That would be incredibly impressive. So yeah, I'll be sending plenty of resources. It came to my attention after another webinar we did that apparently it was not quite up to date, the information that I had. So getting all that updated, and I'll be sending plenty of resources for you guys as well.
Okay.
There were a couple late questions here. I think I answered the one for those of you that just need a little bit more direction or missed the first part of the webinar. If you go to www.imsaccess.com and use the drop-down menu to find your state, you can do that. Then you'll go in and complete the online application. There's another button to hit the online application. You'll complete that application. It'll go through our Gene, our IMS marketing person, and those applications, or that application, will go to Semsee and anybody else that you've selected that you have an interest in an appointment with. If you're with IIABL, same thing. You go to the IIABL website. You can find IMS on that website, or you can use the www.imsaccess.com. Again, pull down your state and complete the application that's there. Again, as Jeff mentioned, if you have any questions, I know it may be a little tougher our information is on the site, but Gene Blazinski is your kind of point person for anything that is application related and carrier related. Okay. I think that is it. We appreciate everybody joining us today over the lunch hour. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. We're here to help. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. Appreciate everyone hopping on. Looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you.